Leadership has been in Dennis Bland's DNA since his days at Broad Ripple High School. A 1983 graduate, he was student council president as well as co-captain of the regional champion basketball team.
One of the themes I think in my life is that there has always been, as long as I've had a consciousness, there's always been a profound sense of gratitude for how people have looked out for me.
While in high school, Dennis also spent time at the Center for Leadership Development, or CLD, an organization founded in 1976 through a partnership between the Indiana University School of Business and the Lilly Endowment. The goal, to help more African American students become leaders in business and the community.
No other city has what we have here with CLD, and I think if you go across the board and you see the number of children and kids and young men and women that have gone to college out of CLD, I mean, that number is amazing, and I bet it's unrivaled with any other organization throughout North America.
I personally think it's one of the greatest assets that we have in Indianapolis, or in the state of Indiana. Touches more lives in more significant, powerful, caring, thoughtful, genuine ways.
After graduating from both Broad Ripple and CLD, Dennis attended DePaul University and graduated with a Bachelor's of Economics in 1987. That same year, Dennis returned to CLD as a volunteer.
And so at the Center for Leadership Development, I saw them helping, but then I also saw an opportunity where they were actually delivering answers and solutions. The organization seemed to me to be north of the problem. And then the more I hung around, the more I became involved in the programs, teaching some of the curricula that was taught to me. The more immersed I became, the more I began to learn, and the more I wanted to learn.
In 1992, Dennis earned a law degree from IU and had a successful practice for 9 years, all the while volunteering at CLD. The leadership there at the time took notice of Dennis, and in 2000, the original president of CLD, Henry Bundles, asked Dennis if he'd like to take over his role. Over the next 20 years, the Center for Leadership Development has grown out of the original building to a new facility where they can impact so many more lives.
It's so important for the young people. It's so important for higher education in the state to help each student, wherever they find themselves as they begin their journey, to be as well prepared for the university experience as they possibly can be.
In the community, in a city, in a town, the work that takes place, the kind of which takes place at CLD, it's just so necessary because government can't and isn't going to do it all.
What's interesting, everyone that has attended CLD since he's been there knows him. I mean, so these hundreds and thousands of kids that are passing through those walls, every single one of them has met Dennis and knows him, and he's made each and every one of them feel important as if they're part of the CLD family.
15 years ago, Dennis had a goal for Indianapolis to lead the nation in the number of Black students going to college and returning value to the community. Now, with over 50,000 graduates, it certainly appears that CLD is on target.
Having an organization that has been able to serve thousands of students, but being able to uniquely do it one student at a time, knowing each of those students have different challenges, and all the while also setting these really high expectations and saying, yeah, you can do this.
Dennis Bland and CLD are redefining academic and career achievement for African American youth, and Dennis does it with experience and a calm demeanor.
Anything you can do to help somebody else whose circumstance is not the best, any way that you can be of help and any way you can contribute, whether that's mentoring, tutoring, feeding the homeless. If you're not at some level about helping other people, then you're wasting space.
But in an active serving leader model, you actually flip it, and the leader is the one at the bottom, serving upward and outward and where people are standing on the shoulders of. So I could get pretty sentimental talking about Dennis in that way, but I think he personifies that.
He's been a mentor of mine. I've learned a lot from the man. He's quite extraordinary and certainly one of the 2 or 3 most thoughtful people I've ever known.
He could have done anything else that he probably wanted to do, but he made it his life passion to work at CLD, and it shows every day in what he does.
As long as I am able, and if there's some contribution I can make that will help make an entity stronger, or if I can offer some level of insight or some level of benefit, then I want to be able to do that.